This week on Africa Weekly. The United Nations warns of potential genocide in South Sudan. As violence escalates between government forces and rebel militia, refugees fleeing to Uganda have alleged ethnic cleansing. In Nigeria, 30,000 have been left homeless, caught up in a bid to turn the chaotic commercial capital into a modern megacity. And in Guinea-Bissau, snake bites are posing a problem to islanders who lack the anti-venom they sorely need. But first, a summary of the stories that made the headlines this week. Gambia's president has been defeated by opposition leader and estate agent Adama Barrow. The shock result is an unprecedented upset for Jammeh, who has been in power for 22 years. The leader had predicted a landslide in his favour, but Barrow pulled off a stunning victory, comfortably winning the presidential election with almost 55% of votes. Upon hearing the news, opposition supporters celebrated in the streets.
I think I'm one of the most happiest guys today throughout the whole world, because this is what I've been looking for so many years. And right now, today, my dreams have come true.
If Jammeh's concession is confirmed, Barrow will likely serve a 3-year term at the head of a transition reform government. A new vaccine against HIV is being tested in South Africa. The study will involve more than 5,000 sexually active men and women around the country. It's one of the biggest clinical trials of its kind and has revived hopes of a breakthrough in the battle against AIDS. Some 400,000 children are at imminent risk of starvation in northeast Nigeria, according to Save the Children. The charity said the area is teetering on the brink of famine. The crisis unfolds as the Nigerian army continues its advance against Boko Haram. Zimbabwe has started rolling out bond notes in a bid to ease critical cash shortages, sparking fears of a return to hyperinflation. A severe shortage of US dollar banknotes has prompted the printing of the surrogate money. It's the first time the country has launched its own money after abandoning the Zimbabwe dollar 7 years ago because of soaring inflation. Funerals in Uganda after fighting between a tribal king's guards and police left at least 87 dead. Police stormed the king's palace on Sunday after he failed to accept an ultimatum to disband his royal guards. Prosecutors have charged him with murder. Celebrated Senegalese sculptor Ousmane Sow has died aged 81. The country's president called him a great Senegalese artist. Sow was the first African to join France's Academy of Fine Arts. Pannier-clad models hit the runway in the Ivory Coast to celebrate 170 years of Dutch fashion brand Vlisco, which makes the traditional garment. The event featured some of the finest looks, made from the famous patterned wax print fabric. Thousands of refugees flee from South Sudan to Uganda, alleging genocide. As conflict in the country intensifies, it is morphing from a political battle into an ethnic one.
Carrying whatever they can, refugees flee South Sudan to safety in Uganda. The crossing is controlled by rebels loyal to former Vice President Riek Machar, who've been fighting government forces since July. Thousands of refugees are crossing from South Sudan at these unofficial border points for fear of ambush along the main routes. Many of the refugees in Bidi Bidi settlement come from the Equatoria region across the border. Refugees say government forces, mainly from President Kiir's Dinka tribe, have been targeting civilians on the basis of their ethnicity. Isaac is from the Kakwa tribe, who are accused of supporting the opposition. He recently escaped from his hometown of Yei. He says the army is clearing areas of Dinka people before they attack.
Sometimes they move during day hours to identify where the Dinkas are, how many people are here, their tribe mates. In an area where there are not many, that's when they'll be doing that. Those people are being killed are not soldiers, because they don't even come to a soldier who has, because soldiers there, they have guns in their houses. They kill those who are civilians.
Over 80% of the refugees who found shelter in this settlement are women and children. New arrivals say gang rape is being used as a weapon against women accused of supporting the opposition, while men are recruited by force into rebel groups or killed by government forces. Irene is from the Lulobo tribe and she's from Western Equatoria. Her husband was shot dead by men who broke into her house. She says she knew the killers were Dinka by their traditional scars on their faces.
I saw the sign on their faces since I was lying down. When they flashed a torch and I was lying down, I could see above myself. Also, they spoke Arabic.
UN Refugee Agency staff in Uganda say that alongside indiscriminate killing on both sides, refugees have made allegations of ethnic cleansing.
It's a pattern that everybody tells us who comes across the border, that they feel they're being killed because of the ethnic dimensions. We also hear of different ethnic groups being evacuated from Yei, for example. So all these are indicators.
Earlier this month, a UN report warned of a potential genocide in South Sudan. While Uganda offers a safe haven for now, many here fear that for those left behind, the worst may be yet to come.
The eviction notice came without warning. Last November, this shantytown in Nigeria's commercial capital was bulldozed as part of efforts to transform Lagos into a modern megacity. It's left about 30,000 people homeless.
Nowhere do I live now. I don't sleep outside, we are sleep outside.
This fishing community is the latest casualty of Lagos's rapid urbanisation. Mostly from the ethnic Egon tribe, these families have been living in Lagos for over a century. But like the vast majority of the city's poor, they just don't have the title deeds to prove it. And with the upmarket district of Lekki just next door, developers are eyeing their land.
They want to evict us and sell it to big men so that they can use the land. Sure, you understand? Because we don't have any money to build big skyscrapers and building. So that one does not mean that poor man cannot stay with rich man.
Lagos authorities deny ordering the demolitions, claiming a fight broke out between the Egon and their Yoruba neighbours. But locals claim that armed police set fire to the area and beat those who refused to leave.
It's a Stone Age practice. It's unconventional, and we claim to be in center of excellence. Center of what? We are behind time. This is inhuman.
Hundreds of thousands of people are thought to be homeless in Lagos. Developers admit that more should be done to provide affordable homes so everyone has an opportunity to prosper in this city. The wounds are still raw for this snakebite victim in Guinea-Bissau, 3 months after the bite.
It bit me, but I didn't see it. I thought it was a piece of wood. I looked and saw that the blood was coming out. They had to take me home because I could not walk anymore.
The island of Soga, in the archipelago of the Bijagos, looks like a tropical paradise. But within its lush greenery lurk vipers, cobras and deadly mambas called kakuba.
I've known people who've died after they were bitten by snakes. The kakuba are the most venomous. Usually when they bite, you don't survive. They're often in trees and palm leaves.
Victims of snake bites struggle to get help. There's a small hospital on the nearby island of Bubak. But if the bite is serious, victims must travel 5 hours by sea to the capital, Bissau. Most can't go and seek help from witch doctors instead.
The victims often go to the island of Formosa, which is famous for its traditional healers. They soak roots in water and then drink the potion.
Meanwhile, pharmaceutical companies have stopped the production of certain antidotes because there isn't enough demand. The World Health Organization is pushing for more interest in the African market, which is worth an estimated €40 million.
Next week, we take a dip off Lamu Island, where fishermen turned conservationists are diving in to keep coral reefs and the creatures that live in them alive. That's all from us at Africa Weekly. Until next week.